Good morning, class. Today we're going to be talking about a research project that was done by students at Washington and Jefferson College. I want to show this to you guys because this is going to be a research project that we'll do in this class, just at a smaller scale. The topic of this research project was campus avian biodiversity. Specifically, to answer the research question of what land cover types increase diversity of birds to determine the effects of vegetation land cover at 4 different points on the diversity of birds observed at those 4 points.
Excuse me, teacher. What exactly do you mean by bird diversity? And what do you mean by different land cover types?
Land cover is a physical material that covers a specific area of land. The different types of land cover looked at in this research project were impervious surfaces, green space, and buildings. And what do you think bird diversity means?
So impervious space would be like surfaces like sidewalks, roads, and stone walks. Green space would be like fields, grass, forests, or areas that has vegetation, right? And buildings, I'm pretty sure that's like explanatory, like houses and stuff like that. Well, I know diversity is like having several different types of things. So I'm guessing bird diversity is having several types of birds.
Yes, you're exactly right. So in this research project, they used the research question to produce this hypothesis. Due to the amount of buildings at each point, there could be a decreased amount of bird diversity that would be caused by the characteristics of the birds, such as birds that are known to perch on roofs or fences of houses. And here's what they predicted about the diversity of the birds at the different land cover types.
So the graph shows that when it came to green space land covers, they thought that diversity would increase. And then when it came to the building covers, they thought that diversity would decrease. But they said like the impervious like sidewalks, the diversity would decrease. Well, that makes sense because forests would have like more different types of birds than a sidewalk.
Yes, that was what they predicted, but we'll look at their results a little later. So for the procedure of this research project, one subgroup did land cover surveys and vegetation surveys. They went out to the 4 different points that were assigned and surveyed all the vegetation, such as grass, weeds, clovers, etc., within a 4x4 quadrat at 6 points within each point assigned. They recorded what they found about the vegetation that they surveyed at each of the 6 points and entered it into a data sheet for people to use in the future, such as us. For the bird diversity group, they had 3 people go out to different areas, each of the 4 points, every Monday, and set up a 25-meter area. Then these students had to sit for 10 minutes and observe the different birds that came in the area, then record what they observed.
Oh, okay. That sounds simple enough to repeat. I feel like this is going to be a very interesting research project for us to do.
Yes, for sure. After the students finished collecting their data of birds and vegetation, they came up with a graph to represent what they found. Here's the graph. Can anybody explain this graph to me and how it looks like they came up with this graph?
Ooh, I think I could do it. So the result that they found was that the effect of the previous land covers was that the bird diversity increased, while in the areas of green space covering, the bird diversity decreased. But wait, the effect of building land cover on the birds was that it increased the diversity of the birds. Wow, I guess they were wrong.
Yes, you're right. The data that they gathered does not support their hypothesis, nor the predictions that they made. Their graph showed that there will be an increase in the diversity of birds in areas as levels of building cover increase. All right, class. Now that we know how these students at W&J went about doing this research project, are there any improvements you could think of we could make to this research project? Or is there any further research you guys think we could do?
Oh, I know what they could have done to improve the experiment. They could have made the circle 25 yards into 50 yards, and they could have made the experiment over a longer period of time.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Maybe that's something we can do when we do this research project.